Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so excited to have you here. We are going to dive into a you and them reading. We are going to look at the masculine energies around Pisces and the feminine energies around Pisces. If you don't have a particular person that you have in mind, keep in mind that we all have masculine and feminine energies within us. And in order to be at our kind of highest and best, we have to have those two sides balanced. So sometimes these readings can bring insight into, you know, our own divine masculine energy and our own divine feminine energy, and sort of like, you know, what we can do to sort of what we can focus on to kind of bring our energy to where we want it to be, into greater balance. All right, so here we go. Here we go for Pisces, please, Spirit. For Pisces, what can you show me? What's going on with Pisces? With Pisces. Masculine energy, please. The masculine energy for Pisces. Okay, and the feminine energy for Pisces. Feminine energy with Pisces. Okay, Pisces, you guys keep getting the same kinds of energy. It's so consistent at this point that I just don't even know what to say. You guys are coming into a good moment, okay? Regardless of whether you're masculine or feminine Pisces, or whether you are, you know, you relate more to one side than the other, you're coming into a really good time. And, you know, the bottom of the deck is always my energy for the connection itself. And it's literally saying act as if, all right? So there's heavy, heavy manifestation, alchemization kind of energy in this reading already, where it is reminding you how powerful you are. It is also interesting. You're getting the dragonfly spirit, and I'm telling you, the message came out with that so strong, like right when I laid my eyes on it. And this is something having to do with this. Let me try to say it. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay. There is some kind of transformation that is taking place in your energy. And it is, you know, it is a shift in like perspective, or how you're looking at things, or how you're even like receiving what the universe is kind of giving you or has given you. Okay, and so this is like, for example, letting go of past narratives, stories we tell ourselves, stories we tell about ourselves, any kind of belief that says that things can't be different, that well, this is all I've ever experienced, so this is probably just my lot in life. All of that kind of energy, it feels as though it's sort of clearing out here, or you are willfully releasing it. I'm even getting like, when your mind hears you say this to yourself, or sees something as a result of this mindset in your life, it's like, I'm getting the word liquefy. Like you're liquefying that. It's as if it's been sort of a stone or some kind of solid obstacle, and you are bringing your awareness to it and liquefying it, like turning it into water or something, where it is then running off. I don't know how to even say that, but it feels like very, very powerful alchemy. And you may even be doing visualizations, because this is coming to me very visually, very strongly. You may be doing visualizations, you may be working with guided meditations, you may be working with mantras, or, you know, just visualizations. I keep getting that. And this actually is having an impact. Do not look at the material world and say, I haven't seen a change yet, so it isn't happening. Like this, there's something here about turning solids into liquids. And it is sort of saying, you know, it took a moment for that to become a solid in your life. And it took a moment for you to turn that solid into a liquid in your life. And it takes a moment for it to come from the ethers into being. Like, it is, you know, remembering that this is a process, that alchemy is a process, and that what it really requires is like stick-to-itiveness. Like, that's what it's giving me, which normally I would say perseverance or something, but it's giving me stick-to-itiveness. So don't know. But it's like, you know, hold your ground, refuse to yield, you know, because it's like, as you're turning it into a liquid, if you stop turning it into a liquid, it's just going to return to a solid, and it's just going to stay there. And everything that you've done isn't going to fully, you know, take hold. Like, and then you're going to keep thinking, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Because you got to just stay with it. It's giving me Winston Churchill, that quote. It's something like, you know, if you never give up, you cannot lose. You know, if you insist, if you will it, it will yield. That's what it's giving me. Like, just don't give up. And this is a test of your patience. This is a test of your absolute refusal to acquiesce, you know, to any other answer. This is a very powerful time and energy. And it is like the universe longs for you to do this, is yearning for you to do this in your life, for yourself. It is wanting to see you, I'm getting like, be crowned, okay? Like, have a crown put on your head. So, oh my God, there's a crown on the dragonfly. Wow. Crown chakra. I don't know. I'm just giving it to you the way I have it. So the bee spirit, right? The bee is the bee in so many ways is such a metaphor for life, and for kind of like what we're talking about here. You know, the bumblebee, the aerodynamic, whatever, engineering people have studied the bumblebee. And theoretically, you know, based on our principles and understandings of, you know, how things work, the bumblebee, it would be impossible for a bumblebee to fly. But they do fly, and we see them flying all the time. But their mass is like greater than their whatever. I'm not a scientist. I'm not even going to go there. But it is like supposedly impossible for the bumblebee to fly, yet it does all the time. And, you know, when I always think of a bee, I always hear that song, My Favorite Things, that Julie Andrews sings in The Sound of Music. When the bee stings, you know, when a dog bites, when I'm feeling bad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. I mean, that song is literally like, I'm just feeling such a different thing about that song than I've ever felt right now as I'm saying this. But the thing is, sometimes life stings. Sometimes it hurts. But, you know, we heal from a bee sting. We recover from a bee sting. We, you know, it hurts, but just for a moment, and then we release it. The energy here is kind of like, it doesn't always have to hurt. It doesn't always have to sting. It doesn't, it's like it stings sometimes and you go, oh, okay, observation, it stings. And then you sort of move on. You think of your favorite things. You turn your energy into alchemy. You're doing something with your life that isn't easy. Like, no one's life is easy. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has obstacles. And what you're trying to do is not just like, oh, and then you mix this and mix that and then put it in the oven and bake it at 350 for 40 minutes and you pull it out and boom, your life is perfect. It isn't like that. It is sort of like, reaching into a space that doesn't exist yet and sort of saying, I'm putting this here. I'm doing this like this. It's like, I don't know if you've ever like gotten an apartment or a house and before you get there, you get the floor plan of the place and you sit there and you think about, okay, I'm going to put my couch right here. I'm going to put my bookshelf right here. I'm going to put my TV right here. I'm going to put my bed right here. Like you spend all the time saying, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to do this. And then you sit back and you kind of visualize and you think about, well, what's that going to look like? What's it going to feel like when I come home to that? Well, that's exactly what you're doing right here, But beyond that, it's like you're getting an apartment or a house that somebody left a bunch of shit in and you don't want it. So first you have to figure out how to move it out. And that's that liquefying process. It's like, okay, I'll just, I'll just liquefy it, I'll just melt it out of there, and then I'll have this fresh, clean space to put all my stuff in. And what do I want there? And what do I want it to look like? I mean, it's giving it to me exactly that way, which, I mean, we all know kind of what manifesting is and how to do it, but this is like, it keeps giving me, when you are renting the apartment or you're buying the house or you're renting the house or whatever, and you're looking at that floor plan, the day is coming when you will unpack your stuff into that space. You've signed the lease, you've signed the contract, whatever it is, it's happening. It's like giving it to me this way. It's like saying, in the same way you imagine it and you imagine how it's going to feel and it makes you happy and it fills you up and you think about it and imagine it over and over and over again or whatever. It's like the same thing. And you don't, like, a couple days before you move in, you don't go, oh, this is too much work or too much whatever, I'm not doing it, or what if it all doesn't work out, and then throw the baby out with the bathwater. You get to that day, and then as you're doing it, as you're moving in, you become exhausted and you become brain dead to the place where it's like you can't think anymore, but you still sort of push through and you just don't give up. You just keep persevering until every last tchotchke is unpacked. And it looks and it feels the way that you imagined or better, and it's giving me or better. So it's just literally, it's like organizing your house that way. There is a method of kind of creating or curating the life that you want by imagining a home with rooms in it, and that being like a metaphor for your life as to like what all you want to fill your life with. Okay, like I've got my friend's room, maybe I want a fireplace in there, maybe I want a little wet bar in there, maybe I want like a pool table or a game table, like Maybe I want, you know what I mean, like beautiful vibrant colors and you know, candles and, you know, warmth and happiness and joy, like all the ingredients for that in that room. And then, you know, my intimate relationships, like, or relationship, maybe I should say, maybe I want, you know, a fireplace in there. Maybe I want, you know what I mean? Like, and you kind of, you know, a space for your hobbies, a space for, you know, the things you're curious about. Maybe you want a library with like high bookshelves, and you can kind of walk through that room in a visualization, you know, like as you're going to sleep at night, like, oh, my friendship room looks like this. Oh, my, you know, my partnership looks like this. Oh, my kitchen looks like this. Oh, my library looks like this, and it has these books, or, you know, whatever. You can really like manifest a dimension and stuff into your life, and actually, like, I find that that is a good practice. I haven't done that in a long time, and actually now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, that is actually, I do remember doing that and liking it. It reminds you not to get too focused on one aspect of your life. You know, don't get too work heavy, don't get too relationship heavy, don't get too, you know, like, find those spaces and have a space in that house just for you. You know, your bathtub, you know, like whatever. But anyway, because you are in this period of transition, and you are in a period of co-creating, whether you are a masculine or a feminine, you are absolutely in this process of building the life of your dreams. Like, period. It's just, I keep seeing it. And the act as if on the bottom of the deck is literally saying, like, act as if it is already here, and that that is the life that you're living, and it will materialize. It will show up for you. Yeah. So this could easily be a connection or a relationship that you haven't met this person yet. Again, this would be that energy of what you are seeking is seeking you. You know, with the masculine getting the crow spirit, like, this is someone who is, you know, co-creating with spirit the kind of life that they want to live. And with the bee spirit and the dragonfly spirit in the feminine energy, this is, you know, this is sort of the same thing. There is a background energy here. It's like static on a TV, where you have this truth transcends illusion. Some of you have been, either people have been telling lies on you, or people have created some kind of space that isn't true about you, or there's just something here that is like manipulative, backhanded, dirty. And it's gonna come to the light. There's a lot of things that are coming to the light right now. I've been feeling it for a very long time, and it's really happening right now on a big level and on a small level. And so there is this like trickery, narcissism, manipulation, stuff like that. It's kind of getting suffocated, and it's kind of having to like make itself more and more obvious to sort of survive. And it's not going over well. It's going over like a lead balloon. So if you have felt in the past that what other people have said about you, or if other people have started rumors about you, or if other people out of jealousy, envy, whatever, have held you back or have affected or influenced you in an unfair way, I do feel like with this crown and this dragonfly and this truth transcends illusion, that is not going, other people will not be able to have so much sway or so much power when it comes to you and where you're going and what's happening here in the near future. Also, if your relationships have been affected by like outside influences of people who do not have good motivations, I feel as though that time period is coming to an end as well. Like you're stepping into your power here in a way of that, like, stuff like that just can't really touch you, affect you, have that much sway on you. It's becoming so apparent who you are and what you bring to the table that what other people say about you, unless it's true, is just obviously untrue. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, there we have it. Okay, Crow Spirit. The masculine energy. Clarifying it. The masculine energy is on a bit of a quest, okay? It's, wow. There's a lot happening here within the masculine. And it is coming to the surface, it feels like. How do I even want to say this? Okay, I want to say this. The crow spirit does really. There's a lot tying the crow spirit to like transformation, wisdom. You know. I kind of want to say like a change in the way that you think, or maybe thinking less and intuiting more, and like feeling your way through things rather than thinking your way through things. And I feel as though this masculine energy, there you have shadow work on the bottom of the deck, and then that's quickly followed by shame, numbing, and soul searching and apology. And so for some of you, could this be a past person coming back around? Yes, but for most of you, I do feel as though what you are seeking is seeking you. You know, it is a situation where, you know, we want the same things. You know, we are looking for the same things. Or I'm looking for you and you're looking for me, I guess is a better way of saying it. So, sorry, my mind is reeling right now trying to get these words out. Like, it's crazy what is going on here, okay? So, I think that this masculine has spent quite a bit of time feeling like shit about themselves. And there's kind of this, I don't know, a lot of it feels put upon them rather than like something that they really like earned or like should feel bad. I hate that. Should. Ugh. What I'm trying to say is this masculine has taken on energy around them. Like, I don't even know. Oh my God, I don't know how to say this. They've been carrying the burdens and weights of other people around them as well. You know, like, okay, I can't even give you a great example, but like, I shouldn't say I can't give you a great example because that just like, words have power, people. You know, this can be kind of an energy of like, let's say this is like, the son is the extension of the ego of the parents, okay? Like, that's a tremendous amount of pressure. And, you know, it also comes with having a path forced upon you that you don't get to rightly own and discover and be sovereign over yourself, right? And so there's this duty, this responsibility to, you know, maybe make money, or maybe, you know, become an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor, you know, maybe, you know, carry the weight of, you know, take care of the other people in the family that can't take care of themselves, or, I mean, I don't even know. That's like taking it on a deep plane, and it doesn't really have to be that deep. Like, this can even be like the masculine has been abused and like in some way, or maybe has like gone to war and like fought or been a soldier or whatever, and like is carrying the weight and the burden of that and of the things that they potentially had to do or had to kind of survive. And maybe survival looked a lot like suppressing it, instead of, because they're not allowed to have feelings, they're not allowed to have feelings about it. So they've kind of just sort of carried the weight or the heaviness of it. In a way, this masculine is also liquefying their solids. I just don't know how else to say it, you guys. But like, there's almost this waking up to, I don't actually have to live my life like this. I could actually find a different path. I could actually find a different avenue. Like, I don't have to just keep going on like this. I'm miserable. When you're numbing, you're trying to escape your life. Life is a beautiful thing. Life is a miracle. Life is a gift. And when you're numbing from a gift, from a miracle, we've got to look at that, right? We've got to go, okay, wait, hold on a second. What is it that I don't like here? What is it that is making this a dark and heavy place? And shame is a very low vibrational energy, and it does take you to dark places. So there's this energy in this masculine of soul searching and apology, which is kind of like, it's almost giving me like a drug addict when you go through rehab, and they have you kind of look at your life and look at the things that you did that, when you were numbing or like whatever, and kind of atone for them. Like, to kind of get yourself to a space where you have absolved your shame as much as you possibly can, to move forward freely, to move forward and create something different for yourself. Like, you're not buried in that shame forever, and you're not taking that shame with you. You can't ever undo your actions or your words, but you can acknowledge them and you can atone for them. And it's sort of kind of giving me this, like, I was operating from a lower vibrational place, and now I'm sort of saying to you, like, I recognize that, and it had nothing to do with you, and it wasn't your fault, and I don't want to be part of passing on the toxicity or the poison of these things that I didn't also create. Like, I'm also getting that. Like, I also came into this like an innocent, fresh baby, that sort of had all of this thrust upon them. And this is how I reacted and responded. And I didn't know any better. But now that I do, I am shifting gears. I am changing. I'm choosing a different path for myself. And this energy, when you start to see these kinds of energies, synchronicity, alpha, fixing, there is this, when you start to see synchronicities a lot, you're on the right path. This is the universe saying, okay, hi, you're in alignment with everything that we are hoping you're going to be in alignment with. Like, you are doing it. And this alpha energy, it's kind of like, I feel like changing my image from something I am sort of ashamed of to something I'm like front and center with. Like, where I'm feeling like, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna be hiding in the corner, or I'm not gonna feel like I don't deserve this, or like I'm not good enough for this. I'm gonna put myself front and center, and I'm gonna know I belong there, as much as anyone else. And there is this, I'm figuring it out. You have this fixing energy where it's like I'm figuring it out. I'm adjusting to this kind of like new way of being, or this new way of seeing things. I may make mistakes, but I will always recover. I understand the power of recovery, of just owning it, being honest with it, and moving forward. I'm not going to make a mistake and then feel like I have to hide it and then bury my head in shame and then not be able to look you in the eye because I'm, hiding something, or because I don't feel worthy of it, or I'm not going to run away and avoid the situation in this relationship because I don't feel like I can get through it, or it's easier. The only thing I know how to do is sort of numb. Like, this is like, no, I am someone who faces things head on now. And I know how, like, I have like a way to do this. Okay, let's look at her. I was listening to this talk of this guy who has studied Hermetic teachings for many years, and he feels like he can boil it all down to like, quick, easy, palatable videos or conversations or talks or whatever. And he was talking about when we're not confident, we are confident. We're confident that we're not confident, like everything is a scale, and everything, like when we are feeling scarcity, we have an abundance of scarcity. So we are actually abundant. It's just that we're abundant in a thing that we don't want to be abundant in. So all we have to do is shift that. And so it's kind of like, instead of being confident that you're not confident, just shift into, I can be confident. I was confident that I'm not confident, so I can be confident. I just can drop the not confident. I can shift, I can move these things. And I can be aware that I'm already doing them. I'm just doing them in a way that doesn't work for me, that doesn't yield the results that I want. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I see a little bit of this energy in the feminine here. And it is sort of a fine line, right, between delusional and confident and authentic and high vibrational and powerful, right? You first have to sort of convince yourself. Like, there's a quote that says, the mirror doesn't smile till you smile at it. I literally can't believe it. You guys remember the cardinals? Oh my God, they're both here in the bushes right now as we're having this conversation. The male and female cardinal are in my bushes. They've just arrived. They've just come back from wherever they go. They hardly ever show up in my bush, like right in front of my office, like boom, right there they are. It's hard to miss, bright red, But both the masculine and the feminine are in my bush as I'm sitting here doing this reading. It's blowing me away. Okay. So anyway, where were we? Okay, so there's kind of this like, first you smile, then the mirror smiles. The mirror doesn't smile until you smile at it, right? Like that's how it has to occur. And there's a lot of this energy around the feminine energy right here where it's like, maybe at first you have to sort of take a bite of the apple. Like, you have to sort of believe that, you have to kind of go on blind faith. Although I will say that in a way, delusion is kind of like fear, right? So, we sort of say to ourselves, well, I'm not this, but I believe I can be, or I'll try to be, or the thing about it is eliminating the I can be and I'll try to be. You are already all of those things. Like beautiful. You are in someone's eyes. Your life, the fact that you are a living, breathing machine, the fact that you are out, able to do what you do, that whatever it is, that is beautiful. All these things that we think, oh yes, that's delusional. I weigh this much, or I look like this, or I only got a high school education, or I didn't even get a high school education, or, so I'm not smart. Hey, listen, education, it does not determine whether you're smart or not. Some of the smartest, most intelligent people I know do not have high degrees, but they are very, very, very intelligent. Um, and there's emotional IQ versus, this IQ, intellectual IQ. So even when you are sort of, how do I even want to say this? I am just so blown away by these cardinals. Even when you are kind of quote unquote being delusional, or like creating this space in your head, or like using mantras to convince yourself, it doesn't mean that you aren't already all those things. It means that subconsciously or consciously, you don't see it. You don't believe it about yourself. It doesn't mean that you aren't already those things. Do you feel what I'm saying to you? You are already those things. And so it's just that, like, the feedback you've gotten from the universe or externally, or all these other things, have sort of convinced you that you are not. But I assure you, you are the divine in ecstatic motion. You are exactly who you are supposed to be, exactly how you are supposed to be, exactly where you are supposed to be. You are. And high vibration comes from getting in touch with that. High vibration comes from recognizing it. And so, with fear, I say, look at it. Look at your fear. If okay, let's say, like, my fear is, I can't even think of it. My fear is that I'm going to try something and I won't be good enough. Like, I won't be able to succeed. Okay, so then I look at it and I say, okay, well, what happens if I try and I don't succeed? Okay, I fail. All right, so I fail. Did I learn something? Yes. Do I feel good about myself for having taken the risk? Yes. Do I learn something about myself in the process that I am capable of trying? I literally just saw this quote from Picasso. And, Picasso painted very realistically at first, and then he became like one of the fathers of the Cubism movement, which is sort of abstract. It is recognizable things, but in a very abstract way. Anyway, he created over 50,000 artworks, and each one is different. And he said, I'm always doing that which I cannot do in order to learn how to do it. For God's sake, that is a good quote. All right. So that is going to be like, I'm putting that on my wall. Like, I am sticking it to the wall. But that's the thing. So, okay. So the worst happens. I learn something about myself. I learn something about the process or what I'm trying to do. And I'm proud of myself for taking a risk. Am I afraid of it anymore? No. You know what I'm saying? So it shrinks. Well, the same thing. If you look at yourself and you're like, well, I'm not that pretty. Like, my sister is gorgeous. Okay, I'll just tell you, she's very, very, very pretty. And everyone always would say that. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. She is so pretty. She is so pretty. And so it wasn't that I didn't think I was pretty. It's just that I always thought my sister was pretty. So I didn't really contemplate whether I was pretty or not. And I remember kind of feeling like maybe I wasn't that pretty. You know what I mean? And so I was like in 6th grade or 7th grade or something. And I went in the bathroom and I put my mom's eyeliner on. And I was sitting there looking in the mirror. And the thing is, I have green eyes and my sister has brown eyes. And I think she was always kind of, envious about it. And she would kind of always be like, oh, I like brown eyes better. And when we would get baby dolls and stuff, she would be like, I want the brown-eyed baby doll. And like, she was always like acting as if like being brown-eyed was special. And listen, hey, I think all eyes are beautiful. I don't have any kind of preference, but I got my dad's green eyes. And so, and like on my dad's side of the family, it's very pretty rare, but like I got them. And so I was kind of special over there for that reason. And so I think she just didn't like that. So anyway, I remember then after I put the eyeliner on, I was like, I got the green eyes. Like, I am pretty. I got the green eyes. I got that going for me. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you know, while it may sort of be kind of delusional, or while we may be sort of trying to convince ourselves, when we actually look at it, we can find it. It is there. You will always find what you are looking for. That is like one of the most important things I ever learned. And so when you are looking for the ways in which you are capable, when you are looking for the ways in which you are abundant, when you are looking for the ways in which you are beautiful, when you are looking for the ways in which you are good at connecting with people or whatever it is that matters to you, it is there for you to find. You will find it. I guarantee it. You will find it. And it's kind of like with this feminine, she's finding it and she's feeling it. And she is feeling good about it. And she's going up, 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 up. You can just feel the energy. And it may have started here with, well, I don't really know, but I'm going to go with this because it probably feels better than this over here. But you will find it when you're looking for it. All right, at this moment, I'm going to take a look at the energy of the connection between these two energies. Let's see what we have. Wow. Oh my gosh, look at this. This, remember I said I got this like background energy, this like static on a TV about people talking about like other people influencing situations and being concerned or worried about that. It's a distraction. And it's coming out here with gossip. I'm afraid of what other people will think. That might be slightly different, but it feels more like I'm afraid that other people will interfere in the situation. Okay, and then you have absence. I feel like a part of me is missing without you. It's almost as if I know you're out there, I just haven't found you yet, and I feel incomplete because I haven't found you yet, you know? And then there's damage. We are both hurting from this. This is just giving me that, you know, you have both had to alchemize your own lives. You've both had to alchemize your own pain. There is kind of a deeper level understanding here between you and this person because of, you know, the experiences that you have had. Oh my God, you guys, this is the most incredible freaking thing. So this card came out, it says evasive. I talk to the wind, I talk to the trees, I do not write to you, okay? And then these two flipped around in the deck but didn't come out, and it says, glad I met you. And then this one says, I don't know how not to dream of you. For some of you, this is a past connection where someone does feel like even though this connection has been challenging and has brought them to the precipice of their shadow side and has made them face the things that they were avoiding in life, they're still glad it happened, and they're still thinking of you without trying. You know, you're still part of them. For others of you, this is a situation where you literally have not met this person yet, and they are like calling you into being. They are dreaming of you. They are talking to the wind and talking to the trees and, you know, trying to make this happen. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful energy. Okay, let me pull one on what is blocking this situation. We have addiction and we have unlovable. For some of you, it could be actual addiction, but remember how I was likening this energy to going through rehab? There is something here where especially with the unlovable on the bottom of the deck, there is this, it is a cycle breaking energy, okay? It's like, if you look at addiction or whatever, it's like, you know, they're not taking the drugs or drinking or whatever in order to like get high at some point. They're just doing it to survive. It's just sort of become how they exist. And that is what I get from this masculine energy, especially. It's just like, this is just how I know to be. And it comes from sort of this space of like, I don't know if I'm worthy or not, kind of. All right, mental body, the masculine. Okay, these two cards flipped around, the Ace of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands in the deck. They didn't come out. But this is that energy of like what I was saying, the stick-to-itiveness. I felt it more with the feminine energy, but I do feel and sense a lot of mirroring here between the masculine and the feminine. And it's kind of like, don't give up. You know, the universe is going to show up. If you don't give up the desire for this and you never quit, it will show up. It will materialize. It will happen, okay? Yeah, I feel like they're looking for this feminine. For some of you, this could be someone who has been a bit in and out of your life. Again, I think that's kind of rare. I feel like with this masculine, with the Page of Wands in reverse, and I did pick up on this earlier, there's sort of a sense of them feeling as though they haven't really been able to choose what they actually want in life. You know, it's kind of one of those things. I keep picking up on the military here, but, you know, a lot of people I know that have gone into the military, it's like they turned 18 and they felt like they couldn't afford college, didn't have that great of grades in high school, and we're just like, okay, you know what, the military is the best option for me. It's going to train me, it's going to teach me. Or they had no support system in life, and they were like, okay, I can at least get an education. You know, kind of have a different experience, get out of this hometown kind of thing. And so, you know, I did it not because I was super passionate about being in the military, but because it was the best answer at the time. Like, I couldn't, even if I wanted, like, maybe I wanted to go to school and study pottery, that just wasn't something that I could choose. I just didn't have everything else I needed. Or it can also be someone who, you know, your parents are like, you're going to be a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer, or, you know, like whatever. They felt an extreme amount of pressure to go a certain direction, and it wasn't reflective of their, you know, unique personal desire. And so they've kind of just skimmed the surface and tried to take the best of what they could from every situation, is what I'm getting with this Knight of Wands. And then as a result, it sort of left them a bit where they weren't really investing wholly themselves into anything. They were just sort of going from, well, day to day in a way, you know, oh, this option or opportunity is in front of me. Okay. Like it just sort of became that way. Well, remember, the wands are you know, our desires, which lead us toward our soul purpose. And when we kind of keep evading them, or keep, you know, not choosing what we desire, or denying ourselves, when we do get the opportunity, the chance to have what we actually want or go for what we actually want, we sort of get further and further away from, the universe has ways of bringing our soul purpose in over and over again, and in no matter where we are at or no matter what we are doing, there are ways for the universe to be like, oh hey, what about this, remember this, here's an opportunity to do this. But it's kind of like this masculine energy in their mind is kind of looking toward their future and going, okay, you know what, now this is my time to go for what I desire, for what I want. This is the time for me to make the decisions and the choices based on, my wants, my needs, my desires. And I think, what they're looking for is someone who is solid and stable and is, kind of as capable as they are, or there's an energy of like knows who they are with this Nine of Pentacles. So, I think that they are looking for a relationship. They are looking for someone who on their own, who doesn't really necessarily need them, in like, I can't survive without you kind of a way. Yeah, wow, this is wow. But like is completely able to survive on their own, but is also someone who is attracting in a relationship or wants someone like them to show up. You have in the heart space the Six of Cups, the Nine of Cups, the Star card, and the Nine of Wands. So 2 nines here. This is, very single energy. Like they are prioritizing their own feelings, their own emotional contentment. I feel like have been on a bit of a healing journey. We see them transforming out of this shame energy into this, confident person who, stands up in front of the crowd or whatever. Their energy is literally shifting with the Star card in their heart space. They're aligning with their truth because they have finally picked up the mantle of going after, pursuing their true desires here. This is someone who never really gives up. I do feel like if they do commit or they do get in a relationship, they are going to, I think that they probably are an act of service type of person, but I think they're also the type of person that, look, I'm not going to quit on you. I'm not going to give up on you. I'm going to hold on to this. This is what I want. This is what I desire as a relationship. And so I'm going to, you've had 3 nines in this reading. This is 2 people closing out a cycle for sure. Not necessarily with each other, but just in their own personal lives. This is someone who's really prioritizing themselves, their desires, and man, they haven't given up. They haven't let go. And it feels as though they're being rewarded. Okay. This person has definitely dealt with they may have been in a relationship, in a marriage, or in a serious relationship where, with someone who, what they said and what they did were very different. And, this person may have fallen in love with what they said, but then what they did was different, or who they actually were, who they sort of ended up being in the relationship was very damaging, at least to their thoughts. This is someone who said things like that weren't good, okay? And this person has been moving on. This person has been freeing themselves, but they definitely spent time believing this, sort of feeling locked out of safety, is what I'm getting. Kind of like they had to survive on their own. And maybe even at times they felt as though they were like begging for mercy, or, you know, trying to get a reprieve, or to get a little kindness or a little understanding, and they didn't get it. And I think it really brought a lot of their key human fears to the surface. And I do feel like this person chose to kind of look at them, you know. We really see that a lot in this reading, and they chose to heal from it. They are closing out that cycle. I feel like they are, you know, they may still be working through it. I mean, like I said, you don't ever heal completely. You don't cross a finish line, but you do get to a place where you're at peace with it. And I feel like this person, there's something about the 8 of Wands that's giving me peace. It's just like a very balanced number, and it's just giving me like, I'm free of this. I don't need to carry this on anymore. I don't need to like let this be the theme of my whole existence, my whole life. There's something here where they're believing it can be different, or that they can experience something different. And it feels as though once this person starts communicating, I think that they will continue to communicate. I also feel that their communication will be aimed at moving the connection forward. Like it's not going to be like stagnant, you know. There's a lot of movement here. And I think this person is really moving away from things and people that they sort of were willing to tolerate when they felt like they were lucky getting the scraps. But they don't feel that way anymore. Now they're looking for success and victory. Now they're feeling like I can stand in the center of the stage with the spotlight on me and feel like I belong there. Like I deserve to be there. And so there is a transformation taking place here. It feels like largely it has already happened. And it feels like most of this, again, I keep getting this with the masculine, is damage done to them by other people. You know, burdens that they ended up carrying because they were kind of thrust upon them. All right, let's look at the feminine. Mental body. Wow. You know, the feminine is definitely, you know, she's going through her own healing process. Yeah. You know, there is this energy of like having been blocked, or, you know, things just not working out, things not being easy, things not really flowing for the feminine. And, you know, it feels like it's due to a lot of outside circumstances. Again, it's like this background static noise. It's like, I don't know if this is like, there was competition, there like, these are not just this situation with this masculine. It feels like the feminine just generally feels like in life. It's like, sometimes I haven't really gotten what I wanted, or I haven't, you know, been able to like experience like life the way that I can imagine it being, because of, you know, people maybe causing chaos and drama around me, or, you know, competition, like them being jealous of me or them being envious of me, like feeling like they can't compete with me, and then like creating these circumstances that block me so that I can't fully realize my own sort of potential. With the 4 of Swords here, You know, there's the 3 swords up front, and then the 4th sword is like kind of in the back. And this is like making sense of the suffering, or putting the suffering in its place up on the wall. Sort of like, it happened, I don't really care about it, I'm at a place of acceptance with it, that's what happened, you know, I'm not going to let it define me. That 4th sword is clarity. That 4th sword is, you know, the release of the suffering. It is like, okay, I actually have control over my thoughts, and I don't have to let the thoughts of suffering prevail, you know, be the most pervasive energy. And with the temperance energy, there is just this healing, and it's like, you know, it's like that Chinese parable about Sai, who, you know, he lives in like Mongolia or something, like way back, and they raise horses. And one day, the fastest mare that people have been trying to catch, a wild horse, comes to Sai's farm and just begins to live there. And everyone in the village is like, oh my gosh, Sai, you're so lucky, you got the prize mare, and she's so fast. And then his son is racing, and he wins all the races, and the people are like, oh, Sai, it's so fast, and you're so lucky, and blah 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 blah. And Sai's like, well, you win some, you lose some, basically, okay. And then his son is racing the mare, and has a terrible accident and breaks his leg, just mangles it. And everyone's like, oh, Sai, so sorry, bad luck, that stinks, you know. And Sai's like, well, you win some, you lose some, you know. And then invading factions come and, you know, go to war with Sai's village, and all the men from the village, except the old men like Sai, go to war. And when they come back, except Sai's son, because Sai's son is mangled from the accident that happened on the horse. So when they come back, they're all like zombies. They have no life in their eyes. They're just, they're alive, but they're not the people that they had sent off to war, that laughed and joked and could participate. And it's very sad. And everyone's like, oh, Sai, that's so lucky. Your son didn't go to war because of the mangled leg. And Sai's like, yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. And that's kind of, this temperance energy is sort of giving me that. It's like, you know, you can accept all things when you accept that there is good with the bad, and there is bad with the good, or there is light in the darkness, and there's darkness in the light. That, you know, you can accept all things as they come and sort of allow them to sort of flow. It's that liquefy energy. You know, you don't need to like hold on to things and let them become solid and let them block you. You know, that's what these people sort of intend to do, is to stop you from reaching your greatness, you know, to distract from, you know, the truth, which is, you know, you rise above the rest. And so there's this energy of just coming to a place of peace with all that is, and just sort of saying it, you know, it is both things. It is all things, and it always will be. I'm not going to get bogged down in the, you know, details, or this shouldn't have happened to me, you know. Instead, I'm just going to sit here and know what I want, and I'm going to manifest it, and I'm going to believe in it. And do you see her focus and her resolve in her face? Nothing is dissuading her from that. She's insisting on being happy, and she's insisting on sort of having what she desires without chasing it, just allowing it to come to her. And she's trusting and believing that when she puts this out there, it will come to her. And as a result, she is like this beacon. She is just like completely attractive and you know, calling all that is to her, you know, and choosing what it is she desires from that. Wow. All right, Pisces. All right. There's a lot of wand energy today. Some of you may be dealing with a fire sign. You do have Sagittarius here with the Temperance card. In the heart space of this feminine, you just have someone who's not giving up. This is like a romantic at heart. This is someone who knows that it's out there for them, and that, you know, in their heart of hearts, they know they can handle it. They know they're ready. They know that they are loving, and that they can process their own emotions, and that they can handle love, and that, You know, they're ready for it. They're ready to be an active participant in it. You know, they're just looking for a place to put it, a place to put their love, and a place to, you know, explore and evolve and be curious and happy. And, you know, they're looking for their manifestations and their dreams and their desires to come true. This is like the heart getting what the heart wants kind of energy. And with the Six of Wands on the bottom of the deck, this is success and victory after a long battle. It's not been easy, but Pisces has persevered, or this feminine has persevered, and they're not giving up. They're sticking to it. And I love with all these wands, you know, it goes back to this dragonfly energy. The wands are us pulling down what we desire from the ethers into reality. And look at all the wands. Look at all this energy that says, yes, you're doing it, Pisces. Yes, you're doing it. Congratulations. You're being successful here. Ooh. You know, you have not let suffering stop you, mentally or emotionally. It's not that you haven't suffered, but you're not letting it control you. You're not letting it stop you. That's for sure. Wow, you are closing out a very difficult cycle, and wow, oh my God, Pisces, this is a cycle where you know, you didn't see what you wanted. You weren't getting the result that you were hoping for. And with the look at all the wands, my God. It's like all just wands and cups. It feels like we've got like a sword here, but like it's wands and cups. This energy is insane. I mean, this is just like, I know it will be so. This feminine is just like, I am looking to my future, and I am planning on sharing it with someone, on finding my person and sharing it with my son, my person. They may not see me yet. We may not know each other yet, but I know that they're out there. And look at that Eight of Wands matching this person's energy. This is like, it is coming to me. That which I am seeking is seeking me, period. And this is steadfast. This is steadfast. This is like, there is no alternative. I mean, this is just what I know. I know that this is the future that I'm heading into, and I am really focused on my future, and I am really I'm gonna have it all, and I know I'm gonna have it all. I mean, and that's what's happening here. Okay, well, good. Okay, here we go. If you're dealing with a water sign, you're getting, even when our love is broken, it keeps us together. And after the loss of our love, we will come back stronger. You are dealing with a fire sign. You are getting, our love journey is eternal and enduring, because love is the answer and reason for everything. If you are dealing with an earth sign, you are getting, the moonlight dances in the glow of our love, and the beauty and pain of our love brings a deeper union. If you are dealing with an air sign, you're getting, my wandering soul returns home to your love. My secret obsession, you are all I want. Pisces, this is your you and them for right now. I am going to do a all signs reading, Pisces and every single sign individually, on the members channel. And so we'll see what happens there. But hopefully this brought you guys some peace and some clarity. And yeah, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Love ya. Till next time. All my best. Always, always. Bye-bye.